Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hockey Talking. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. The Seattle Kraken expansion draft has happened. It has finally happened. It was a long build-up, several years since they were announced that they were going to be the 32nd team in the NHL. And there was a lot of questions about, would this expansion draft be any different than the Vegas Golden Knights expansion draft? The rules were the same, but would Seattle's strategy be different? Will GMs have learned anything from the Vegas expansion draft? Who would teams protect? Who would they leave exposed? Most particularly on this channel, the Blackhawks. A lot of build-up, a lot of trying to figure out kind of mocks and everything like that. And after all this time, I'm kind of left a little underwhelmed. Seattle ended up making some questionable decisions in their expansion draft. Picked a lot of players from a lot of teams that nobody really expected them to pick. Kind of went off the radar a little bit with their selections, including who they selected from the Chicago Blackhawks. They decided to go with forward John Quenneville, 25 years old. Barely has played any time in the NHL the last 2 seasons with the Hawks, but Seattle decided to pick him. I don't know why. It's a little confusing that they didn't select a guy like, Calvin Don or Nikita Zadorov or Adam Gaudette or Ryan Carpenter, guys who actually have quality NHL experience. Not saying that they're great players, but you'd think they would be a better selection than John Quenneville. No offense to John Quenneville, but definitely not what we expected from Seattle to choose. But it seemed to be a common theme with Seattle. Decided to go that route a lot. And because of that, they found themselves with, about $30 million in cap room still left. So you got to imagine that even though they picked a lot of guys who are, not very high up there on the depth chart, they can make some splashes in free agency or trades. They got a lot of cap space to use for teams who don't have a lot of cap space and need to shed some cap space. So it looks like that's kind of been their strategy. But still, picking a guy like John Quenneville, who is an unrestricted free agent, by the way, just kind of signals that they just didn't care for anyone on the Blackhawks and felt like it was a throwaway pick. Interesting, especially considering that you could get a young guy to, bolster your future, essentially, which they did a little bit of in the expansion draft. And like a guy like Adam Gaudette, he's young. He's like 24 years old, and he has some NHL experience and centerman. I don't know. It's perplexing to me. And with those picks, you just assumed that there would be some side deals, kind of like how Vegas did their expansion draft. They made a lot of deals to, take players from teams in exchange for, some other considerations. They basically, absolutely fleeced Florida during that expansion draft. You kind of thought maybe some similar deals would be made in this one with Seattle, but there wasn't really any side deals. There were a couple deals after the fact, but nothing that would really explain why they made the picks that they did, why they chose John Quenneville from the Chicago Blackhawks. But like I said, they have $30 million in cap space, and so you can assume that they're probably going to be making some deals in the coming days for sure. And the Chicago Blackhawks, they still kind of have what I'd call a good problem in the sense that they have a lot of players, and not necessarily maybe the quality of players that they would like, but they have a lot of NHL players for few NHL spots. So they're probably going to be looking to get rid of some players. So they're going to be most likely making some moves as well in the coming days. We have the entry-level draft coming up here very, very quickly. I think the offseason is just beginning for both Seattle and Chicago here. But still, expansion draft choices, kind of confusing, at least in my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion, though. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.